Hello, everyone, and welcome to Big C's second podcast. This one obviously is going to deal with yesterday's Monday Night Raw. Obviously, you have a new WWE champion, The Miz. If you want to listen to my first podcast, you can check it out. It's under my channel. It's Big C's Survivor Series recap, I think it's titled. I'm not exactly sure. It's there. It's the only video I've made so far. Yeah, last night's Raw. Whew, what do I say about that? It was bad for about 2 hours, and then the 10-minute overrun was one of the best 10 minutes in in WWE history, I guess. The Miz is your new champion. I've already seen a lot of mixed reviews. It's Tuesday morning. It's 10 o'clock in the morning after, so it's only a couple hours, about 11 hours removed from the Miz's championship win. I've read a lot of bad things and I've read a lot of good things. I'm sure the women and children are pissed off as hell, and I'm sure some of the guys are too. The Miz is kind of one of those characters who people still haven't bought into. I do want to touch real quick on Kevin Nash. Anyone that has heard, he actually posted on his Twitter something along the lines of WWE giving Miz a championship shows that their stuff ain't real or something like that. I don't know. I'm pulling it up right now. It shows. I've always been a fan of Kevin Nash's, and after this, it's kind of like, Kevin, just shut up. Just shut your mouth. You're irrelevant. You're not in the business. No one cares what you have to say anymore. And even if you are in the business, you're on TNA. You can never. The Miz is going to go down in history as a better champion than you, in my opinion. Here, exactly what he said was, WWE told the world that their shit is a work with the Miz as champ. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean. Is it because he's young? It's because he's not believable as a champion? I don't buy either of those things. God forbid WWE pushes their young stars. Hey Kevin, that's the reason WCW is not around anymore, because you guys didn't step to the side and let the young stars get championships. And that's the reason TNA sucks right now, because guys like Matt Morgan, guys like Hernandez, AJ Styles, they're not the champions. They get pushed into the limelight for a couple of weeks, then they're out of it. Hernandez isn't, I don't even know if he's on TNA anymore. And that's why. So Big Kev, I've always been a fan because you're a fellow Michigander, but shut your damn mouth. No one gives a damn what you have to say. The Miz is he's going to be a better champion than you ever were. And he can actually win championships without signing contracts where they're guaranteed. So that's all I wanted to say about him. He's an idiot. Let's start recapping Raw. That's obviously what I'm going to talk about tonight, or today. It started off bad. It was the Wade Barrett coming out and demanding his rematch, and I thought that was pretty poorly done. But I was glad to see that we were going to get a championship match at the end of the night. I kind of wish they would have pushed it off to King of the Ring next week, because I feel like that they kind of could have had that have a free pay-per-view type feel to it. Now I don't know if it'll have that same feel. If they had taken all of the events that happened at the end of the night and pushed them back a week, I really feel like it would have made King of the Ring like a pay-per-view basically, but you get it for free. And it really would have pushed the fact that when WWE has a 3-hour show, you better watch, because you're going to miss something. Yeah, but Barrett, and then what pissed me off was that he was going to allow Cena to come back to apologize. I'll touch on that in a minute. I want to apologize to WWE myself, or Cena to come out and say goodbye or something. I don't know. I wanted to apologize to WWE because I ripped them for having Miz come out on Survivor Series and say he was going to cash in his Money in the Bank match, because basically what this told us was that he wasn't going to cash in his Money in the Bank contract at Survivor Series. So basically, all they did with that segment was say to us, hey, there's no way we're using this contract tonight, so don't worry about it. And I just felt like that was stupid. Now I look at it, and the night after, 2 nights later, it was a good choice, because it kind of had us let our guard down, and I don't think anyone really expected The Miz to cash it in on Monday Night Raw, which he did. So overall, I think that was a good decision now. John Cena, still stupid decision. He's fired, but he's going to come back. It's just dumb. It's like Shawn Michaels, when he retired, that's it. Don't bring him back. Ric Flair's a piece of garbage in a lot of people's minds, including mine, because he comes back and he wrestles full-time now. He's wrestling full-time for TNA after he retired. He had a retirement match at WWE. When you have a retirement or a fired match, that should be it. Do not put the stipulation in if you're just going to come back. If you want to put the stipulation in, make it a suspended match. Make it, oh, well, if you lose, you'll be suspended for 30 days, or you'll be suspended for 60 days. Then you can bring the guy back. But don't make it a you're fired match. And they did the same thing with Jericho a couple years ago, and everyone knew that that was not going to be the last time we saw Chris Jericho. He came back 5 years later, of course, but still, I don't like putting that stip in if you're not going to stick to it. You're fired, you're fired. That's it. You don't come back. He can go to TNA, he can go to MMA, he can go wherever he wants, but he can't come back to WWE. So, yeah. Anyway, after the Barrett thing, there was just a lot of King of the Ring matches. There was Ezekiel Jackson versus Alex Riley. I was glad to see The Miz didn't come out, because when I heard this match was going to be Zeke versus The Miz, I was like, come on, they're not going to bury Miz, and they can't have Zeke lose. But it was Alex Riley, so I like the way they went with that. Sheamus beat R-Truth, no surprises there. DiBiase lost to Daniel Bryan. Kind of sucks for Ted, because now he's been beat twice cleanly by Daniel Bryan. Yeah, I don't know where they're going with Ted. Hopefully that he ends up getting some sort of push in the future. And John Morrison beat Tyson Kidd. No surprise there. I could right now, after the first night of qualifying match, and by the way, they're not qualifying matches. I'm not going to call them that. It's round 1 of the King of the Ring. There's going to be 4 on Raw, probably 4 on SmackDown. That's just call it round 1 of King of the Ring. It's not qualifying to get in. It's a tournament. So that was round 1 of the tournament. And yeah, but he beat Tyson Kidd. That's not a surprise, I'd say. My favorite after the Raw matches is John Morrison with Sheamus close behind. I don't see Zeke or Daniel Bryan winning it. They don't really need it, and it's too early for Zeke. But yeah, so I see John Morrison win that. I'll let you know my prediction on Sunday when I do my TNA Final Resolution predictions, and I know who's going to be in it on the SmackDown side, because you never know, there might be someone on that side that's pretty strong. I did want to say real quick, bravo to WWE. They made a great move last night putting CM Punk on the Raw commentating team, the broadcast team. Anyone that knows anything about the outside of wrestling now, just watching reads on websites, they know that CM Punk actually hurt his hip, I believe at bragging rights. Initial word was he was going to need surgery, be out for several months. Now the word is he's not going to get the surgery. He's going to be out for, I don't know, it should obviously less than several months if he decided not to have the surgery. But this is a good way to keep his character fresh. Give his character room to improve, because he still needs to. I think he was the hottest heel on SmackDown when he left, and they need to keep this guy on television. So a great way to do that is to have him on the broadcast team. And he did NXT a couple months ago. I don't watch women's wrestling, so I don't watch NXT right now, but I did hear some of his commentating after I read about it online, and he was outstanding. So I really like this move by WWE. I hope he stays on. He said he was going to be on next week. I hope he stays on for the foreseeable future until he's healthy. Then it'll keep his character fresh in our minds. It's just good to have a character that good on television as much as they can. Next up was the main event of the night. Nexus came out. They beat the hell out of Randy. I thought this was good because it kind of made it feel like, okay, now we have an even match. Whereas before, Barrett doesn't have Cena in his pocket, so how in the world is he going to win if he couldn't win with Cena in his pocket? Well, Nexus gave him that advantage when they beat the hell out of Randy. And the match was alright. I didn't see all of it. I came in, I saw the beginning, I stepped out for a minute, and then I came in towards the end again. And when Barrett hit the wasteland, they had me fooled for a second to where I thought, oh, well, Barrett might win. But he didn't win. Of course, John Cena came out, and John Cena's apology, I don't want to really touch on that. I thought it was cool how he did the, Cena sucks, and we love Cena, or let's go Cena. That was cool, and how he acknowledged it was men and women and children. Men hate him, women and children don't. And I thought that was it started off bad when he fake cried and all that, but it ended very good, and he said bitch, even though he's on a PG. It kind of pushed the fact that he's fired and he's going to do what he wants. But we all knew we were going to see him later in the night, and we did. He came out, he attacked Barrett. Nexus came out, and it really had that chaos feel, and I think Punk pointed it out, and I had that feeling before he actually said that, and I was like, wow, something crazy is going to happen. And I should have known Miz was going to cash in his Money in the Bank contract, but I didn't. Cena ran out through the crowd, and Nexus, instead of just letting him leave, chased him, and there was just this chaos feel. Boom, RKO, Barrett was down, and then when Randy's music stopped, I think people started to realize. Then, Mr. Awesome came out, and I love the look on Randy's face. Like, are you kidding me? If you go back and watch the replay of it, you can see the look on Randy's face when Awesome is echoing throughout the arena. It's priceless. It really is. And then the look after Miz wins the match of the little girl in the crowd. She looks like someone just took a dump in her Cheerios. I mean, she is pissed off and shocked at the same time. And I thought that was a great job by their cameramen to put that on there, because it really captured the belief, the feeling of a lot of the fans in the arena and throughout the country. Yeah, I thought the match was pretty well done. It wasn't your typical cash-in match where, if it's John Cena you're cashing in on, you have to come out, you hit your finisher, he kicks out, you hit your finisher again, ball game. Or you hit your finisher and then that's it, like CM Punk did to Edge. This one actually had a match. It lasted about 4 minutes. I actually had the thought run through my head for a second that this match, Randy Orton might win and it might be all for nothing. But, of course, they didn't do that. I'm glad they didn't, because when you win something like that, when you win the Money in the Bank, you should be rewarded with a championship. When you win the Money in the Bank, the expectation among the fan community is that you're going to win the WWE Championship. So they handled that well. They put the belt on him. He ended up reversing an RKO. Randy almost won. He almost hit the RKO to end the match, but Miz reversed it into a skull-crushing finale, and that was it. I really felt good for Miz, the person, Mike Mizanin, the guy who was on The Real World. He came up with a persona. He fought his way into WWE. Many may not like the means he got there, but he got there. And he was horrible. He was absolutely an abomination to wrestling when he started. He would butcher his lines when he was the host of the Diva Search and SmackDown. And he was just god-awful on anything WWE related. He repackaged himself. He went to ECW. That's where he made a name for himself. And that's why I really liked ECW, because it helped guys make names for themselves. He was in the tag with Morrison. Last year was when he really became a favorite of mine. It was when he came out and he blasted Cena every week. And he had the Cena with the cross, the X over it on his t-shirt. And that was when The Miz became a star, in my opinion. And last night was the culmination. I'm happy for the guy, because he seems like a genuinely nice guy who fought his way to the top. He had some bumps along the roads, a lot of bumps along the road, and he didn't give up. He fought his way to the top, and now he's a world champion. And I imagine he'll be one for the foreseeable future. As far as where they go from here, I have no idea. Next week's kind of got a pay-per-view feel to it, I feel like. The fallout from Miz winning the championship, the King of the Ring. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm sure it'll be Randy versus The Miz at TLC, and then sometime in the future we'll have Cena versus Barrett. I don't think we'll have it at TLC. I'm looking to at the Royal Rumble, which would be nice because we won't see Cena in the Royal Rumble match. But yeah, I would imagine it'll be then. I don't think they'll wait till Mania to do it. It's just too far away, and this feud I don't think it'll last that long. I hope they keep Nexus together up until Mania. I don't think it'll last much longer than that, though. SmackDown, I didn't really touch on it. There's not much to say. We all know what's going to be the main event at TLC. It's going to be Kane versus Edge again because of the draw. And other than that, there's not really much to say about them. TNA, I don't even want to touch on them. They only announced one match for a pay-per-view that's coming up in, 4 days? So they're going to have to announce about 6 matches in one night, which just shows you, look at the parallel. TNA is going to have to cram. They're going to have to do the build for about 6 matches and cram it all into one night. And then you look at WWE, and they pull off a shocker like this. I mean, it's just TNA Impact this week is going to be god-awful, in my opinion. I can tell you that. I'm not going to watch it. It's Thanksgiving. I'll read a recap or something, but I'm not going to waste an hour and a half watching it on YouTube or 2 hours watching it live. So I will be back on Sunday to give you my predictions for that. You can check out my predictions on WrestleView.com Sunday, probably around 1 or 2. And I will be picking under Student of the Week, Brian C. Other than that, yeah, I'll be back Sunday to give you my predictions. We'll talk about Raw, King of the Ring next Tuesday, and when we'll just go from there. I'll be on Monday to talk about TNA's Final Resolution, SmackDown a little bit. All right, thanks for listening. See you next week.